Well, all right. I think we are live, but of course, guys, we always wait a few seconds to make sure. And I'm also gonna do something I should have did before the show started. Just post it on Twitter. We ask you guys to do the same. Help us out, man.
Yeah, it's live. I got it up now.
Cool. We are live and streaming. So what's up to everybody? Like I said, man, we'll wait a few minutes until we see, a few viewers pop up in here. We don't want to be talking to ourselves. So for anyone who's live, we want to give them a proper greeting. So you're gonna see us. Just sit here for a second. I'll sip some water. Got that lemon water going on. And what else I need? Y'all probably hear me digging around in my desk drawer. Let's see. Anybody in there yet? Yep, we got a couple people in here. So what's going on, folks?
Yeah,
How's everybody doing? Hope
what's going
everybody is
on?
well. Y'all know the routine. We're gonna get right to it because of course, I have not a lot to say about the football team. We'll get into it, but we'll do that. We'll talk about our week, how we feel about our football team, and anything else miscellaneous that may come up outside of that. And then once a few more of you guys get in here after we've gone through all of that, we'll dive into the topic. You see it there. We're going to give our overall thoughts of Madden 21 Next Gen, good, bad, the beef. Nah, I won't even say beef, but the conflict that we're currently having in the community. Some of you guys already know what that's about. I did my own video a few days ago, and we'll dive into that, and that's all we got. If it takes us 2 hours, it does. If it doesn't, then hey, we all get out of here early tonight. But anyway, let's throw it to Smitty, man. How was your week? How's everything been? What's going on with those Lions? And anything else you might want to add to that?
Excuse me. Um, so I haven't had a chance to eat dinner yet, so I'm kind of eating, while we're doing it. But
No problem,
no,
bro.
man. What I'll say is the Lions. Look, Daryl Bevel. Okay, good win, right? Solid comeback because first half that sucker was looking bleak in the mud. I was like, all right, here they go. They about to fall off the cliff, and that's gonna be that. But man, to see Bevel, like, hey, they rallied up, they won. Now, this is the thing, and this kind of thing that's been thrown around here on the radio and stuff locally here. If Daryl Bevel wins out, let's say he wins, possibly takes it to another, a playoff game and wins one, should he get the job instead of looking for a legit coach? You know what I'm saying?
Good question.
Now, in my opinion, if the team is bought in and they riding for him like that, it's kind of hard for me to say let him go for somebody else because remember, Detroit was in the same situation not too long ago when it came to Caldwell. We got to bring somebody in that's going to be about the culture. Well, no, not the culture. Well, yeah, the culture talk, all that stuff was all brought up before. And you had the whole Patricia situation. Quinn had his guy. Because it wasn't Caldwell. So a lot of people were looking forward to Caldwell being gone. And then he brings in Patricia, and we all know what happened there. That's why both of those cats are gone. Like they guaranteed something was gonna happen. I mean, not guaranteed, but you come through and say, 9-7 ain't getting 9 wins is not good enough. And you couldn't even put together a season. You didn't get even close to that. So dude's gotta go when that's the case. I don't know who the offensive play caller is. I know they said it on the radio too. I've completely forgot Dr. Funk. But I mean the thing is, now do I want to see the Lions win out? I kind of feel like yes, I do, because listen, all these NCAA players that enter the draft, there's too much talent to be like, oh, if we don't get a top 5 pick or something like that, like a top tier pick, we're not going to be able to get a quarterback. You can get a quarterback. Because look, I love as much love as I have for Stafford, and I love Stafford. But it's going to get to a point where you got to let my man go. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to have to move on. And that's like they said it on the air too. Who was it? I can't think of who was it that said it. I think it was Michael Strahan that said it. It was like Tony Gonzalez. And they said that, Matt Stafford, the Detroit Lions wasted Matt Stafford. Like, they basically did. And that's true. Like, I'm not saying he's washed up, but he's not about to all of a sudden break the mold. And especially here. Like, he's not going to. Now, if he goes to a team that's got the culture, they have a stout defense, and they got an offense, and they are the big lack they have is in the quarterback spot. Oh, he could go in there and he can light it up. As long as he gets on one page with the receiving core, he could light it up. That's no question. There's no question about that. But it's unfortunately it's at a point now where it's like, try to get some value for Stafford at this point. It'd be one thing if we were a Super Bowl winning caliber team and we just were really good and then he just aged. But we got somebody else in line, honey. So right. And we had somebody else in line that could play at the quarterback position, but we don't have that right now. So that's why things are the way they are. Hey guys, go out there. Okay, go out there. Hey, honey, go out there, please. Thank you, baby. So I'd rather them not win out and hopefully get some value, if in terms of a potential move. But I mean, of course, we still need a GM. Of course, we need that. You know what I mean? So we need a GM, we need a head coach, we need that whole thing. So, but if Bevel does go all out and he does win out and he does this thing, I wouldn't mind him coming back as long as the players are playing for him, and they truly would be playing for him if they were to win out like that. But my thing is, they would have to basically win out, get in the playoffs, and win a game. You know what I'm saying? In order for me to be like, yeah, keep him here. They can't be losing games and then be like, oh, we're here for him and we like him and all. It's like, no. He tried. He got to go. But otherwise, other than that, man, I really don't have anything else. I mean, you got the NBA news. I don't know what the Clippers is crazy, man. You gave Paul George 226 million over 5 years.
Wow.
That he be talking a good game now, and he can play.
Hitting the side of the backboard.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
my man,
I don't know
PG.
about all that though. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know if I don't know if he's gonna live up to those expectations. And then see, one last thing, just to hit on now, throw it to you, Sim. The whole culture that's been created and cultivated because of this whole super team click up with other star thing that's going on. See, look at what James Harden's doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
First it was just Brooklyn. Now it could be Brooklyn and it's the Nets. but Houston don't want to give up anything unless they get in Kyrie or what's his name or KD, which rightfully so. I fully respect that. Like you can't give them away for pennies on the dollar. Um, then you got Miami. Oh, we'll give up Tyler Hero, or it was rumored him and whatever pieces they're gonna put together. Now he's saying he'll go to Milwaukee. You know what I mean? It's like, man, look, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Dudes is trying to just bounce from they're trying to get with all these stars. I understand he wants to go to a contending team. He wants to do that. I respect that. But the clicking up like that is like it's ridiculous. And that's why, I know the game is not going to be the game of basketball. It's not going to be the same like it was in the 80s and early 90s and all that stuff. I get that. But that's that's the thing when you have a plethora of talent back in those days, because you had a lot of guys that were averaging 20 plus points per game. And it wasn't that they sucked and nobody could play defense. It's just that the caliber of talent was that good across the board. You had players that went to college for 3, nearly 4 years. So they were a nicely produced product going into the league in comparison to the way it is now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like there's no real it's that competition. It's like you got to have 3 superstars in order to win. No, you don't. No, you don't. LeBron paints that picture, but that's not necessarily required to win a chip. It just really sucks because that's the culture we're looking at now. Guy becomes a real stud. Now he's trying to click up with 2 other superstar players, not you know, one star and then role players and maybe a good player here and there or a draft pick that rises up. It's like, nah, they're waiting for the superstars to click up together and make something happen. Like the only situation I would look at in the exception is in Phoenix, because DeAndre Ayton is not a superstar. You know what I'm saying? I would look at Booker. I would say he's borderline, like he's star. I wouldn't say he's superstar yet, but he's star material. And then you see a guy like PG, and you see what I mean, not PG, excuse me, like Chris Paul, and you see what he brings to the table in terms of leadership. You saw what he did with the Thunder, and now to see how it all works, it's not necessarily 3 superstars clicking together, but he's more of a leader of a team. Like he can help bring that team out because he's a good, distributing PG that can definitely score and play some good on ball defense as well when necessary. So it's going to be interesting. You know what I mean? Because preseason starts tomorrow or in a few days or
It's
something like that.
real soon. I can't remember the
Yeah,
exact date though.
because the season begins in 2 weeks, I
Yeah,
think. So yeah, so
yeah, because they're gonna have Christmas Day games, so it's at
yeah,
least what?
yeah,
What day is the day? The 10th? Yeah, at least
yeah, the
15
10th.
days. So
Yeah, so
yeah,
but throw it to you, Sim.
man. Real quick, just to add on to the basketball thing. I didn't watch it myself. I just heard people talk about it because I usually watch, all the smoke by Steven Jackson and my man
Matt
wow
Barnes.
Matt Barnes.
Yeah,
And apparently, PG was on there, and he had some things to say about Doc, and I'm like, I hate when players do that. Now, I mean, if you have a difference of opinion, it's cool, but it kind of reminds me of like AB's interview, when he left the Steelers, and it's like I don't know. I think it's bad for business, man. It's bad for the sport. It is what it is. It ain't no big deal, but I just don't like that. And it's not to say that I dislike Paul George. I think he's a nice player. I don't know what was going on with him in the bubble, He had a game or two, you know, but then when it counted and when they needed it most, he won himself. And he even admitted at one point while he was in the bubble that mentally it started to get to him. It is what it is. I don't know these people personally, man. So I'm just, I just really don't try to sit back on my couch and say what somebody is and what they're not. I don't know them personally. I just don't like when players do that. I don't like when coaches do it either. To me, it should be a certain creed. That could be the talk amongst the league or amongst players and what have you. But, I just hate to see, and again, I didn't see it myself, so I don't know the fullest extent, but people were saying he was speaking kind of crazy, about him. But, yeah, no need for that. But anyway, guys, what can I say? As I'm, taking a peek here at peeking at Thursday Night Football. You know what? I got a question for y'all, man, before I dive into what I'm going to talk about really quick with the Steelers. And I'm going to ask Smitty when he comes back. I want to see what you guys have to say. Is Cam Newton washed? And I say that with all due respect before I even give my opinion. I'm not saying it from a standpoint of he can't do anything. But I just wonder, do you guys think Cam is a bit washed in terms of what he once could do, or, is he just not going to be able to fit in New England? I don't think he'll be back, but I'm curious to know what others think, and we'll circle back to it after I give my little quick piece on the Steelers. But I just wonder what a lot of everybody in the community and what you guys are thinking, man, as y'all watch Cam Newton, I would say, have a little bit of struggle. Do you think it's that he's washed, he's not the talent he once was, or B, he never was really the pure passing quarterback, even though he's had some games where, he lit it up. He's had an MVP year. You guys think, he just don't have it anymore? Is it the system? Is it his mechanics? What? I just wonder what other people think, and I'll give you my thoughts as well. As far as the Steelers, man, look, sometimes I feel like I'm on an island by myself. I've been saying this for the longest time. Y'all probably heard me say it last week. I was like, yeah, we 11-0, but they not a Super Bowl team. I'm real honest about the team. I don't know, man. And the thing is, people want to laugh and joke and say, oh, how do you lose to the Washington football team and da-da-da-da-da. It comes down to execution, man. The Steelers do not have a run game right now. Their running game is putrid. I mean, it's bad, bro. And then when you can't run the football and, defenses start to get a read on what you're doing, even the quick passing game, if I went back and watched that game a few times, Washington did a good job with knowing what the Steelers were going to bring to them. They played real aggressive, tight coverage, and they made plays when they had to make plays. And let's not front. Washington has a heck of a front four. So I already knew going into that game, look, man, we can't afford to have been passing the ball 40, 50 times, in which he passed, I think it was 56 times, 53 or 56. In 2 consecutive weeks, he's thrown the ball, he's averaging 50 attempts a game in the last couple of weeks. That ain't good. Steelers defense is pretty solid, but like any defense, they ain't going to lock you down the whole game. Washington made some adjustments after a player or two went out for the Steelers. It was a point where Joe Hayden wasn't out there. The backup for Bush, Spillane, who's been playing well, he went down. Steven Nelson wasn't in that game at all. So, again, I got to take my hat off to Washington, man. But look, they still 11-1. It's funny how, and I didn't even really watch any of the media. And I always tell this to people on the Steelers show. I don't listen to everybody else's opinion. I listen to my own as far as what do my eyes tell me? What does my gut tell me? Just because so-and-so and so-and-so says this is what the Steelers' problem is, that ain't the gospel to me. Just because you'll hear Stephen A. or somebody say, I don't understand people who just ride with that. Because believe me, people that came to my Steelers podcast, literally it was a couple guys in the chat saying, well, this is what they're saying in the local media, so that's what's happening. I'm like, well, what's your opinion? Why you just listening to the talking head? Like, what do you think? So, bottom line, I'll say this. Look, who knows, man? They're 11-1. You look at who they play next. The Bills is going to be a tough game. Could very well lose that. We got some injuries already happening now. Where Vince Williams is on the COVID list. Y'all know we super thin at middle linebacker, right? An inside linebacker. Spillane likely has an MCL injury. Bush was done for the season. We signed Avery Williamson, UG3 for the Steeler fans. Y'all know who that is, so I'm not going to say his whole name. This is just for the Steeler fans. UG3, and then a converted inside linebacker in Marcus Allen, who has been playing in a dime package mostly. It's going to be a very interesting outing. Buffalo is a nice, solid team. They can run the football. They can pass the football with a deep threat in Stephon Diggs. They have a nice defense. We got to go to Buffalo. Did I say Baltimore? My bad. Buffalo. So, we'll see. But if you look at the schedule, the Steelers might end up, if we want to be realistic, it's very possible they could end up 12-4. I can see that. If we're lucky, 13-3. If you win 2 out of the next 4. But either way, I don't think they're a Super Bowl contending team. Contending, yes, out of sheer record. But are they a force to be reckoned with? I'm not quite sure. They're going to have to make some serious, not even necessarily adjustments, because you don't make a lot of adjustments this time of the year. They're going to have to get some serious execution. Because if they put on a show like they did against the Ravens in the second outing, not when we went to Baltimore and won, but in this last outing, they put on that performance as well as the performance they put on against Washington. Yeah, we getting up out of the playoffs real quick. That's just being honest. So we'll see. I'll die on that hill. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And also, yeah, exactly. No, Drew. Drew. Excuse me. Yeah. Now, because I saw Claypool, they said he didn't practice due to illness, and then more than likely he's probably on the list now. So, yeah, man, that's all I'm gonna say. But anyway, guys, let's get into it. Let's get back to the Cam Newton topic really quick, and then we'll dive into Madden. So I asked, and I'll ask again for you guys that may not have heard it. Is Cam Newton washed? Let me see if anybody responded. Dr. Funk says no. Let's see. Gamer Champ says, I think Seattle game was the best game this season, but injuries hurt him. He's a serviceable quarterback now. Yeah. Let's see what else somebody else said. Aaron Wells says, even though Patriots smoked my Chargers, but we all know Chargers stink. Y'all got a bright future though, man. I like Herbert. I think you give Herbert some time because remember Herbert probably wasn't, we all know, most of us know he wasn't going to play this year. If anything, he would have taken over for, Tyrod or whoever else. You know what I'm saying? But he wasn't slated to start. Got thrown in there, and I think he's had some good games. He's had some rookie games as well. But I think y'all in good hands, man, as far as at least having a really solid quarterback. Let me see. Anything else on Cam? Last one, Luke Coates. And then I'll give you my thoughts, and then Smitty can give you his thoughts. He said Cam is a around-the-way playground quarterback with his legs, but the NFL arm is wacky. I'll say this. I'm not going to say that he's washed, but Cam not showing me the wow factor anymore, and I will factor this in. New system, totally different. Even though they use him similar, they also have some design runs for him. But even on the, the basic plays, his accuracy has looked a little crazy sometimes this year. He short arms it, or it seemed like even like a little while ago, man, when they had possession of the ball, it seemed like he's throwing down, he's throwing low and hard a lot. It just, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's his skill at this point. Because we've all witnessed him being an MVP quarterback. And I'm not talking about just him running. We've seen games where he could throw the ball decent. But to me, he's never really had the accuracy to where you're going to put him in that category of being, a top-notch, just stand there and pass it. So if his run game isn't a big part of it, then what type of quarterback is he? But I'm a little concerned, man. I will say this: he's on a 1-year contract with New England. He right now he's not. He doesn't look like a team will just swoop in and grab him. Probably will, but I don't think he earned himself or he's played himself into you know, a bona fide contract for next year. But that's just my thoughts, man. What do you think, Smitty, man? Have you had any chance to watch him this year, or from the highlights you've seen, do you think has Cam, is he has he washed, or is it system, or what? What do you think?
I think it's a bit of both. Shout out to Scuba Steve with the $2 donation. Wanna
Scuba Steve.
easy
Name that movie. What? Not Scuba Steve or anybody else. Name that movie where he got that name from.
but
Y'all know I'm a movie guy.
okay.
Man. So I be
He
knowing
asked
them
you
joints.
he asked you the question. He said, what made you become a Steelers fan?
I don't know. The reason why I say that is because I was a Steelers fan as a kid. I have a picture from, I don't know how old I was, 3, 4. I'm in a Steelers jersey. I don't know where it came from. My older cousin was a Steelers fan. A team that I played for in Little League was the Steelers. It's kind of just, and once I saw it on TV, I guess that just was it. Because I'm originally from Virginia. I'm not from Pittsburgh. I live in Pennsylvania now and have been for a long time, but that's why. No other reason than that. Then something must have attracted me to them when I was young. And there you go. I mean, I'm talking like 4 or 5 years old, and from ever since then, I can remember just following the Steelers. And like I said, with my older cousin being a fan, it was always, something that was in my mind because he is, what is he, 7, 8 years older than me? So that's it. That's my story. Rob Dilla, yeah, you got it, brother. Oh, yeah, Dez got it
Yeah,
too.
Dez got it. Yep.
51st dates? Nah, man, you way off, brother. I mean, now I'll be fair. It might be in that movie, but it's definitely from Big Daddy. That's where most people would know it from.
Yeah, but as far as my thoughts on Cam though, like and like what Dez had said too, he's been beaten up a lot. He's been beaten up a lot. Yeah. And for a guy who's supposed to be a dual threat, both with the legs and everything. Look, and see, this is the other part too, thinking about it. As a quarterback, you need to be able to use them arms. What was Cam doing, especially in the earlier portion of his career? He was throwing that shoulder. You see what I'm saying? He was tucking it in and being that big, that big back, and just he was being a power back out there at the QB spot. So all of that takes a toll. It's like with every quarterback that can scramble, they all get that hit, or they have them plays made against them, man, where it's like their game drastically changes. And now they got to be all about the arm. You know what I'm saying? And it's like Cam is definitely not all about the arm. You know what I'm saying? He's not about standing tall in the pocket and throwing. He's about being aggressively in the mix. You know what I'm saying? Like that's him. You got to have an offensive scheme where he gets to run around. You know what I mean? Like not just stand there in the pocket, make decisions and all that. Like he showcased that he's not exactly, even without the injuries, he's not the absolute best at that. But he has to have a balanced attack. And that's the other thing too. He's got to have the receiving core. He's got to have the run game. You know what I'm saying? And he's got to have a stout defense. Because that's just it. So for him. But I mean, on the offensive side though, yeah. he's not going to be running around too much more, you know, trying to throw them shoulder blows and things like that, especially when you got to be able to throw. You got to be able to, you're using them shoulders to knock dudes over and gain first downs, but then you also got to use those same arms, you know what I'm saying, to throw those passes and everything too. So it's not like you're taking a hit or you're tucking it in once every good blue moon. Like, no, you giving punishment. So yeah, that's good. That's gonna wear and tear on them, and then that makes you look more of an average quarterback than an overachiever. And that part, it's unfortunate, but that's just the way that it is.
Daddy,
So,
can you watch your phone?
Hold
on. Yeah, man, it's unfortunate, man, that even as I'm peeking at this game, just put it in perspective, guys, as far as the struggles. I'm not putting it all on Cam. I'm just saying it's the first quarter. I know I've seen the Patriots have the ball, I want to say at least, I think 3 times or 2 times. Rams have had it, I think, 3 times. The score is already 10-0, and the Rams have it right now with 3 minutes left in the first. Patriots just ain't doing nothing, man. And it's unfortunate. I see my boy Cam Akers out there, though. But, yeah, man, unfortunate about Cam, man. But, we'll see. Maybe he lands the right system, right team, right fit, and he can get, continue his career. I would take a chance, perhaps, on him. But, it's at this point where you know what you're going to get with him. And,
Right.
Can you build around him, and can you all suffice with Cam? But sucks, man. Sports is brutal. It's a brutal game, man. It eats you up, chew you up, spit you out. We could very well be watching the last of Cam Newton. And if I'm not mistaken, what is he now? 30, 31? Something like that. I don't think he's that old. Is he 30? Yeah, he's probably about 30. Let me check that real quick.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to pull up here.
Yeah, he's got to be about that. At least. Maybe
Yeah, he's 31.
31. 31. Okay. Yeah, so, he still got some juice in the tank, man, but we shall see.
Yeah.
We shall see. But all right, man. I know it's what you guys have been waiting for. Overall thoughts of Madden 21 Next Gen. Where should I begin? Kind of similar to what I said last week for you guys that, watch the show routinely. Listen, let's get this out the way. Let me say this piece because I think this is important, and I might circle back and say it again later in the show for anybody who may come in later. I really don't understand. I really don't get all of the beefs that spawn from Madden. And what I mean by that is people get mad if somebody plays the game, which is weird. People get mad if somebody's opinion of the game isn't the same, which is weird. People get mad if you don't approach the game the same way as others, which is weird. So, to me, just so everybody knows where I stand, Smitty and I have done what we're doing for so long. It's to a point now where it's like, look, at the end of the day, man, this is all I'm striving for. Just to give you guys a heads up, my wife and my son just got home. They had went out for a moment, so you might hear I always call it their little dog, go crazy as they go upstairs. But it's like this. I'm done with caring about what something is or isn't. And when I refer to Madden, what I'm saying is I'm at a point in my life, man, where it's like, look, this is what we got, right? I'm gonna give my feedback. They gonna fix it, or they not. They gonna do better, or they not. I just can't exalt my energy going so far with the bashing or so far with the overpraising because I'm seeing it on both sides now. Both sides. I'm seeing people who think Madden Next Gen is the greatest thing they've ever played. Yes, I promise y'all I'm seeing that. Then I see those people that think that is the worst game they've ever played. But here's what was funny about it. We all have our different reasons as to why we feel like something is good or bad. And that's why I said trying to be the whole, you know, I don't even know what word what phrase I'm trying to use, but trying to be the, you know, the carry the whole community on your like it's clear that people have their own agendas, they have their own opinions. I mean, we're seeing it even, we're going to talk about this a little bit too. We're seeing it right now with a lot of the infighting that's going on in terms of, you know, the elephant in the room is the player movement. Me and Smitty will get into that. But it's like so many different opinions. So let me stop blabbering, man, and get to my thoughts on the game. It sucks to even be saying this, but it's the magic word that we've always said. The game actually does have potential, man. There's good things in Next Gen Madden. And remember, guys, when I kept saying that, you know, I didn't think it was going to be the exact same game, and I said I was going to stand on that ledge by myself if I had to. And well, come to find out, it ended up being about what I expected. I didn't think it would be a totally different game. Like, and what I mean by that is if you cut it on, you don't recognize it. No, that's not possible. I didn't think that was possible, and the reason why is, again, let's be honest with ourselves, right? I was the one saying, like, man, what if they've been secretly working on it for 3 years? Impossible, right? Nobody has had dev kits that long. But my hope was that they would do something different from the norm, meaning it wouldn't be an exact copy and paste. You would introduce something that is going to set a different foundation, whether that would have been AI, player interaction, physics, player movement. One of those things in my mind had to change. And it had to be significant. That's what I was looking for. So lo and behold, we find out, oh, they got this whole next gen technology. And it's not just a stats thing, right? Because that's what I thought it was at first. Then we find out, oh, there's this technology, this RFID that's in the shoulder pads of each player, and it's going to drive the player movement, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, oh, great. And the reason why I was excited by that and still excited about that as I play Next Gen Madden is because you can see where this can go. Now, again, I know the word potential and let's wait and see. People use those phrases as like you mentioned the devil or something. Like, oh, here we go again. But I'm like, this is the thing. We're going to be in the here we go again for quite a while with Madden. I don't know when people are going to realize that, Smitty. Like, this game, all of us can say that we've been waiting for it to get to a level of. It's going to, dog. I don't know why people keep thinking that's going to be this. Like, it's impossible. So the only thing we can hope is that, all right, they're starting to introduce real stuff, real structural things that's going to take the game somewhere else. This player movement thing is it. It's one of them. Not all. It ain't all. But this is a piece. This changes the way this game, you know what I mean? This is going to change a lot. You're already seeing it for those of you who, you know, have the ability to play on next gen. It's a lot of change right there. And they could build on, it could be endless. Will it? That's the question. But tracking real data, it's going to make it so much easier to start really separating players, start introducing more, you know, differentiation of play. All of it is there. Player movement is starting to matter, right? As long as a two-man sequence doesn't kick in. So I got to talk about that. That's one of the things I don't like. And I got to be honest with myself, Smitty, and chat. I don't know if it's really possible. I don't know if it's possible what I'm expecting or what I'm anticipating or what I would want. I don't know. I don't know if you can make the game completely one-to-one. And the reason why I say that is the more I play 2K, right? Just a quick sidebar. 2K hasn't eliminated as many two-man animations as most of us would have thought. They didn't. But what they did do is they allowed the one-to-one to be more of a factor.
Mm-hmm.
You're still going to have situations when you go to finish, two-man plays out. It happens, guys. Trust me. And I love 2K right now. I just pulled the I can't hear Smitty. I just pulled the thing out of my headphones. There we go. I love 2K. I'm having a great time. I'm actually playing my career and enjoying it. But me being the analyst mind, I dissected. I'm like, I got drawn into that. And it's every game. Now, there's other games that do a better job of it. So I think maybe the answer is this. And I know I'm all over the place with giving out overall, but, this is just a discussion. Maybe the answer is, and AzureEffect says this all the time, maybe EA just need way more animation, right? That triggers appropriately. As long as it makes sense, we'll be cool. Excuse me. Then again, I have a play that I captured today, and I'll try to get it out. I don't know if I'll do it tonight, maybe tonight or tomorrow. Playing against the computer. Everything played out the way it should. There was no two-man sequence at the end of the catch point. My guy didn't catch it. The defender almost had a chance to pick it. He dropped it. It hit my guy's arm. The ball bounced around. I was like, look at this. And what I don't understand is how does this happen sometimes in the game? So I got a lot of questions that's unanswered. Like, do you have the ability to release it and it's kind of there, it's hidden, and I don't know. Here's another dislike. There's a lot of bugs. Guys, the coverage. And that's going to throw us into another conversation. But I'll wait. I want Smitty to give his overall thoughts on the game first, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the player movement and all of that, because that's really part of that discussion where people are leaving out is the bugs, right? The problem is not the player movement, but we'll get into that. But yeah, I'm a little disappointed by that, man, because I'm like, you had extra time. So where I feel like the game lacks in terms of whatever you offered, and I'm not talking about top to bottom, I'm just talking about what your offering was for 21, it shouldn't be this many bugs. I mean, it's some wild stuff happening in coverage. It don't happen all the time, but talk to guys like Relly. Talk to guys like Zan, and they show you some examples, and you'd be like, woo-hoo. And see, again, I hadn't seen them all because it's a certain way that I play. Right? I'm playing a CPU, or I'm playing a like-minded guy, or even games I've jumped out there in the lobby. I think right now I'm like 5-2. Maybe I haven't run across the guy that knows all of the tricks yet. But when I look at Zan's gameplay, I'm like, oh boy. Man, safeties are jumping the wrong guy. Guys are getting sucked down and leaving stuff. I mean, I don't understand what's happening. And we've already seen EA come out and say, we got stuff coming that's going to address zone logic and player movement tuning. And I think some people read that the wrong way. I don't think they're going to change the player movement, because technically the way the game is, there ain't much they can do. Because this is real data. Like it ain't, I think we're actually in a safer place this year, or this new gen, because of the way the technology is driving it. You see what I'm saying? But we'll see. But overall, man, it's like, I'm just tired of being in this position, man. I'm just tired of being in this position where we're trying to figure out when we gonna get that game. I'm tired of the wait. I'm serious. I'm dead serious, even knowing that it's gonna be a while. But what I'm saying is I've come to that realization. That's why I'm never overly disappointed. Because I've come to the realization, well, we know who governed it. And then they're going to allow them to do some things, and some things they won't be able to do until the next. That's just how it works. So I never understand the outlash, like, the people who go crazy. And I'm like, well, what were you really expecting? We should be loud and continue to bang the table, because I think we have an opportunity now. Because of the whole fixed Madden franchise thing, we saw how that could grow legs. So if we keep pounding the table, it can find its way to corporate. But then also, maybe 2K again. 2K comes out next year with their non-simulation product. It does well. Maybe us, the fans, can encourage the NFL to say, okay, why don't we open that license up for a little more? Because I think that's the biggest problem with Madden, is those that cut the check, they don't feel a threat. There's no real threat. But let me get back to my overall feeling, man, because I've just been rambling, and I'm kind of, filling in some spots, when Smitty has to step away. Positives. Player movement. Love it. Don't touch that. What you need to touch is, if you guys notice, Smitty's probably seen it sometimes, I think it's one of the bug issues. The cornerbacks will slow down to a jog for a second, and I think that's a bug, because it's been pointed out by Dev. So I'm not going to go crazy about that, because, again, that's why I don't make the wild videos. Look at this. Look. Because you got to understand our position. Me and Smitty been there long enough to recognize a bug.
And it's been going on for years.
Years. Come on, man. It's the same.
I'm gonna wait. I got. Go ahead.
We regurgitating stuff, and it's like when I recognize a bug, I don't make that video. Why? Because I can show you right in here where I done talked to the devs already. Now, I'll make the video when I say, whoa, why did he do that? Oh, I got him coming. Don't worry. I got good and bad. I'll make the video when I be like, why did he cover that guy? That ain't no bug. That's logic. So that's the difference. You never gonna. Zan's video on Twitter was perfect. Why did that safety jump down and take what was he doing? That is a problem, which, again, we kind of hear that might be some logic bug, but still, that's something that you show, but not an obvious bug like the guy. You could tell. And again, maybe because we've been in the environment, we know what the bugs are. I like the tackling at times. I have to say at times, because it's still, for my taste, it's still too much of the canned situation that you can't interrupt. Is it better on next gen? Yeah, it is. You see a lot of different things. You'll see 4 or 5, even a 6-man pile up from time to time. But it's almost like it has to be the right circumstance. It's still not, physics is still not taking over the game. That's a big pet peeve of mine. Because even with them saying, Madden 21 optimized, I was expecting you was going to be able to, all of those things that we know are in the game, I was thinking they was going to be way amped up. Because you told us technology was what was holding the game back. Smitty and I know that. I'm going to say that right here. Whatever. I don't think I'm getting in no trouble. They tried to do physics and on all people. And matter of fact, Smitty, even with the player movement, they been tried to put the true step and all that on all the players. Didn't work. You know what's funny? Oh, man, it just hit me. Whatever. Somebody said I shouldn't have said this. Whatever. This was years ago. Remember when they tried to put the true step, real, whatever you call it, because we went from true step to, what was the last one they called it?
What, RPM? You talking about real player motion?
When they attempted to put that on all 22 players. first thing we heard, yo, we had to take it off. It broke our coverage. What's happening right now? Now that the player movement is realistic, coverage is broken. Yo, you can't make this stuff up. And again, I'm not going all the way blame the devs because of guys, y'all don't know, man, the constraints. We want y'all to do this, and this is the amount of time you have to do it. Because that's what they did with Frostbite. The devs looking at them like, what? How are we gonna do that and make it happen? But still, it's things like that that cracks me up from being behind the curtain. I remember that years ago. And now the complaint now is, well, I can see it. See, some people questioned me about that when I did my video. When I was like, nah, the problem ain't player movement per se. You know, there's zone issues, but a lot of the stuff that's happening too is because of the player movement. And some people don't even realize that. Not necessarily the bugs, but even some of the passes you can make now and routes that you can throw is because of the player movement. It's more realistic. But, so yes, I like that. I still don't like the two-man interactions, man, playing out. And again, I don't know what the answer is for that. It's better. Like again, let's coin that phrase that they told us months ago. It's an optimized Madden 21. Can I play current gen? I can't. Feel of the game is totally different. I will say that. The feel of the game. Listen to what I'm saying. I didn't say the game itself was totally different. The feel of the game is, to me, night and day from PS4 to PS5. Just the way it moves. Like, I can't. I even had to take a break from the league. I can't play it, man. I can't. But my overall thoughts, man, is it's an improved Madden 21. It's a lot of what you saw on last gen in terms of the infrastructure. But if there's a bright side to it, don't sleep on the integration of this RFID tech. This could be a game changer, a serious game changer, because you're seeing it already. The problem is there's still a lot of the other ugly that's still there, so it's hard to get so excited by that. Maybe when they, because they said it, they posted it, that they're going to address zone logic, and maybe when they get that stuff fixed, then we can really say, all right, this joint is playing proper now. But it's hard right now to give a real assessment because it's broken. There are a lot of coverages that's broken, and it's weird because it don't happen every time, but it's actual. Let me give one more pet peeve. A lot of time when I give feedback now, the devs, and you guys have probably seen this on Twitter when they were on Twitter. There are a lot of times they'll ask you, what play were you running? Let me tell y'all my pet peeve about that. I hate that theory. It's not their fault. But what difference does it make? That makes me feel like everything is like chained together. So, for example, if I have an issue with the way somebody played a coverage, I can understand you saying, what coverage did you call versus what offense? And then they can say, yeah, he posted did this and did that. But when it's a regular thing, then I won't go into detail because, some of the conversations I've had offline is kind of, behind the scene. But when it's a regular issue, well, I'm saying, why is he moving like that? And then you were like, well, what plays did you call? And the fact that you see it with your own eyes, listen to what I'm saying, guys. Have y'all not seen with your own eyes certain things happen on one play, but it won't happen on another? Or the two-man animation will trigger here, but it won't trigger it. What is that? I don't like that. That sounds like there's too much governing going on. Like, they got to get away from that, man. So, last but not least, I'll say this. I'm actually finding enjoyment in this game. Playing offline. I've even had fun playing head-to-head online. Y'all know that ain't my crowd at all. But there's some enjoyable things happening on Madden Next Gen. Um, I can only encourage if you have the opportunity, play it yourself. It's hard for me to tell people what's better, what's not better, because my opinion is going to be different from yours. I don't do the normal labbing. I don't do those things. I just play the game and see what I see. You know, I'm an eye test type of guy. And I'm having a lot of enjoyable moments, and I'm having some frustrating moments. But I will say I think it is a better version of Madden 21. If you were able to deal with Madden 21, liked Madden 21, was okay with Madden 21, then your best experience of Madden 21 is on next gen consoles. If you're looking for it to be a completely different game, I would suggest you wait. Because it ain't that much different. It's just a much better version. That's the best I can tell you. And like Smitty said last week, if you can get the Gen 4 version as cheap gets, get that, and then you get the upgrade for free. And that's how you can play it, you know, for virtually nothing. That's all I got, man. Okay. What you got, Smitty?
Well,
Lord,
I mean,
short again. See, now I'm about to cut the game on. I can have a better time playing that than watching this. Come on, Patriots. It's just, I don't know. I'm just weird like that. I like to see competition, man. I hate seeing my man Cam. They got my man Cam looking terrible out here, man. I feel bad for him, Smith. I do, man.
It could be the scheme, though. You know what I mean? Like it could be the scheme is why it ain't working out for him. You know, but you know, for him it wouldn't be too late. You know what I mean? Because he's not a pocket QB, so that makes sense. But all right, talking about this Madden 21. Now, I'm impressed with it. I am impressed. You know, the game, I mean, look, we knew franchise mode wasn't going to be anything, you know, upgraded. Excuse me. All the visuals being updated and everything like that is cool. But I care mainly about the gameplay.
You know what? Real quick before you get going, since you said visuals, I forgot one thing, and I promise I'll be 10 seconds.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Sim.
They need a new presentation overlay.
Yes.
Y'all sold us on the visuals and the sidelines and all that. And by the way, still ain't APF level as a whole, which is sad. But I don't want to see the same intro from come on, man. I want to see a jump like when we saw Madden 12 the first time. Remember that? We was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
We need that.
Yeah.
Give us something new, man. Stop playing. Like, that presentation just boring. All right, go my bad, man.
I mean, even 2K made up their own, you know what I mean, like, where they will introduce the away team. And I'm talking about in basketball. They'll introduce the away team, and then they'll do the, you know, how some teams used to do the holographic 3D floor presentation stuff. Like, they would do their own mock-up of stuff like that.
Beautiful.
Someone singing the national anthem, just getting ready to finish it, and then they show the team. You know what I mean? Just all the different ways they present games, but it's realistic because that's what they do, you know, when it comes to an NBA game starting. Yeah. And yeah, but that's crazy. But yeah, so
my controller got an update, and this is next gen.
Oh yeah, on the 5.
That's next gen stuff right there.
No, right?
What the? Yeah.
Yeah, man. So he said, "Oh man, my man Brett Lee, he has said that Debo passed away today."
Who? Debo?
Yeah.
Debo. Oh man,
Yeah, Tiny Lister.
that sucks, man. God bless,
Oh
man.
wow.
My man Tiny. Tiny was older than people thought too. Not saying that matters, but he was a lot older than I think people thought he was.
Oh really? Oh okay.
But man,
I had a chance to meet him. I met him before he had came to church I used to attend back then. He had came through, and he
was he
came
like
through
a
a few
big dude
times.
in person? You know, TV sometimes make you look a little like they
He's
blow you
he
up to
is
be bigger.
yeah, like no. He's big, but he's not like a towering
Mm.
big guy. He is a big guy though. Like like he's not he I don't know. I wouldn't say yeah, no, he was like slightly taller than me. So yeah, but I definitely would say like, God fearing dude, man. But he did impose his presence. That's for sure. Like he did that
Ebo.
same thing. So, yeah, but no, rest in peace to him, man, and
Rest in
definitely
peace,
praying
man.
for his
2020
family.
ain't playing no games, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
We done lost a lot of people, man.
yeah, man, yeah. But um, but no, what I was saying, as far as Madden here, Madden, look, modes and everything are the same. Let's just focus on gameplay. Sliders aren't anything like that. I'm 6'1", by the way, just so that way I say he's a little bit taller than me. I'm 6'1". So it was like when I met him, I mean, he wasn't like somebody I had to like look up to or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? But he's not short. Um, but player movement, huge. Okay.
Man, yes. Yes.
Gigante. Okay, just huge improvement. All right. It does allow you to pass better. Is passing does the passing system need an overhaul still though? Yes.
Yeah.
It definitely does because you still can't you still you look just like how Sim said, you got the moments where you got the two-man animations play and then the moments where they don't. It's the same thing with the passing. For the most part, that pass is tethered to the route. Um, but you also have it where you can throw those passes and it literally it's not listed as inaccurate or under pressure. It's like an on target pass and you literally are throwing the ball into space and the receiver's running over there to get to it and reel it in, and I'm like, if they could do this all the time, this game would be amazing. Like to respect in respect to ratings and
Mm-hmm.
user control input too, bruh. It would be nice to be able to really like I'll push the analog stick a certain direction. Excuse me, I want the pass to be thrown toward the middle instead of it being thrown toward the left because that's gonna line directly up with him on his route. Like that's what still is in Madden now. You see what I'm saying? But the tackling, is it better? Yes.
Yeah. When
The
that interaction don't play out.
yeah. Like when do I see momentum and everything in the tackling and everything? Oh, no doubt. It's there. Am I seeing the rally tech that they call that they call it, where it's not really seeing you're not seeing animations truly get pulled in like that, how you see it on PS4 and all that stuff? Yeah, I'm seeing that too. And it looks good. It
Hey
looks good.
Smitty,
Yo,
speaking of
yeah.
that, how you like that? Glad I hadn't had a chance to talk about that. How you like the way that I guess it's sort of a breakdown, and they swing their arms back and go into the tackle. How you like that? Have you noticed that? How they break down and they kind of
Yeah, I've seen
swing
that
into
happen at
it.
some plays. I like it. I like it. It looks
It makes me
more
feel like they're
genuine.
about to tackle somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're making the commitment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To the tackle. And that's the other thing that I like. Especially when a defender is engaged with a blocker.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you go around that blocker's shoulder and the defender is able to get a piece. You're seeing guys just get that piece and get knocked down a whole lot more. PS4 and Xbox, those dudes will be deadlock engaged with a blocker. All of a sudden, they're able to peel off and pull you all the way down. It's like, nah, they'll slow you down, like they'll hit you, they try to grab, but then they go down. You may stumble a little bit, but then you keep going. So I'm like, okay, I'm liking this. It's not truly reach tackling per se, but at the same time, it's like they are reach tackling. They're trying to. And I like those effort plays. It's really nice. I like the run blocking for the greater majority. They definitely have revamped it. It's not supposed to be perfect. I'm gonna talk about how people are going ham and everything like that, like it's supposed to be perfect. But I love how O linemen are going downfield, looking for targets, looking for work,
Mm-hmm.
and making something happen. We need that exact same energy and effect in the secondary on defense. Looking for work, checking the targets, moving, action. What's going on? Where am I going up? Am I going down? Am I going left? Am I going right? Am I going on an angle? Am I doing it? Same energy. Now, this is what Sim already said it. The coverage needs work. There's bugs in the secondary.
Yes.
No questions about that.
Definitely.
Okay. This is what I want to get at. Okay, let me get at this. I'm thinking about it here. All right. Now, I told my man Dez, I was going to bring up Point from his podcast. And shout out to Dez, the You Heard Me Dog, his podcast, he doing everything. He had Relly on there, and
I got it.
Relly,
how I missed that one? I gotta
yeah,
that one.
yeah, it was good. It was good. And he talked a bit about the dialogue when it comes to sim and comp guys and everything. Like what Sim was talking about, with the complaints and issues, things like that. Now, Relly he didn't name names and all that stuff on the podcast, and that's cool and everything, but people listen to us, and he was talking about, he did make mention of when me and him had our little hubbub or whatever back then on the show here. And what he basically did was, listen, okay, the reason why you have the disconnect the way you do, it's because casual / comp crowd want unrealistic things to happen at all times, but then say, oh, but these real world concepts are being used, so it's legit. See, like when he brought up the premise of multiple concepts being ran out of bunch during a Madden tournament or gun bunch or whatever. Okay, that's fine. But the way that crowd plays, they're not playing to replicate what happens on Sundays. They're playing just to cheese and outwit each other via cheese method. Regardless of, I mean, look, if you fire up Madden right now, they don't have the NFL playbooks and then the NFL blitz playbooks where all of a sudden it goes from 11v11 to 7-on-7. And now you got NFL blitz by midway playbooks for all the teams and you just have at it. It doesn't go that way. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying this to go at Relly. This is not going at him. It's not that at all. I'm making a point from what he's saying. Like, he's like, that's where that discord is. And I'm like, but see, that's the thing though. Just because you can name, oh, well, I called cover 3 match and I called Tampa 2 out the 4-3 formation, and I call, it doesn't matter. I'll call palms out of nickel, and it doesn't matter what set you call. The problem is how you guys are translating it on the field and your complaints. See, Sim made reference to Zan, and I'll point the finger at Zan too, because he said this. He did the same thing. Yeah, he'll call out the issues with zones, but then he'll be like, "Oh, but player movement though."
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Like
he'll complaints about player movement.
He'll complain about player movement. You see what I'm saying? And I seen Relly co-sign on guys clowning on player movement or complaining about player movement. And it's like, if you got a problem with these guys using something authentic, which they did. Sim, Azura, Apex, Versus, Brozales when he was doing it, B5. So many people have straight pointed the finger at EA and said, dude, you guys got the access to all the NFL data and footage and everything else. Y'all need to replicate this stuff right. So they finally do something systematically in regards to player movement being governed via NFL real world data off of what these players are literally doing on the field, and we're complaining about it. Man, I can't run how I used to. Oh, you mean you can't hummingbird all over the field like you used to? Because that's what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Oh, but the zones are messed up. The zone's been messed up for years. What game y'all been playing?
Yeah, it has been jacked up.
The zone's been jacked up forever. Corners covering grass and all that stuff. That's been going on for years. what like now the zones are a problem. Get out of here, man. Yeah, it cracked me up when I heard Gut Fox say, he said, all these sim guys messing the game up. And if they want it to be sim, it needs to be first person view with them inside the helmet. Really? Okay. Understand this. And I'm not, once again, this isn't taking shots. Like Zan said, what's the RFID on Barry Sanders? who tracked that? Like, see, like, you could say stuff like that. But see, at the same time, where were you at to measure Barry Sanders' speed up close and personal? I don't see how you can. All you could do is talk about your favorite Madden and what you used to be able to do. That's it. And this is a key point too that I'm getting at here with this is this. Too many people out here are afraid to let Madden actually be built. This game is never going to get anywhere. I was to say this game will always be licking the heels of 2K, FIFA, PES, NHL, MLB The Show. the list will go on and on and on forever with Madden always tugging at the bottom of the pant leg, trying to come up. Why? Because people want everything that's innovatively attempted to be put in the Madden to be watered down and took out. Every single year. This feels like True Step Part 2. It could very well be Matt Watch. Madden 22 mess around and they didn't water down player movement. Because people complain, oh, but I can't. And this was something hold on, it said the feed cut out.
It did?
I still see the stream right here. No, I'm looking at the stream. No, it's up. It's up,
Yeah, it's
Tim.
running. Yeah, I was
It's
about to
running.
say.
So I don't know what's happening, Jermaine. I don't know what's going on. But okay. But no. When you look at NBA 2K, for example, and I was having a little chat with Relly about this, going back and forth. We was messaging and everything, and the thing is, NBA 2K has a plethora of issues. They have a ton of bugs right now in the my NBA. You know what I'm saying? Tons of bugs. And the funny thing is that did you see 2K roll their game back? Oh, we're gonna roll. I mean, yeah, they tampered with shooting because people complained, and that really was very irritating. But they didn't gut out features. They didn't gut out features, and they didn't gut out their mode. They didn't gut out gameplay. They didn't get rid of all the animations. They didn't. You see what I'm saying? They still kept building with fundamental issues they have, with core gameplay issues they have, with mode bugs, with online server problems. They still continue to build. They didn't stop nothing. They didn't roll anything. They didn't roll back their whole game mid, post launch because folk were in their feelings. They didn't take their literal features that they added that's supposed to take the game to a higher height and water it all the way down because users feel a certain way. But yet that literally happens with Madden. Every single year it happens there. And then you hear people complain about stuff like it was so good before. Complain about the zone play. Fine. Duly noted. Issues with zones. Bet. We'll work on it for next year. Yeah, there has to come a point where it's like there is no microwave fix, and it's going to be a slow burn. And it has to literally build up, man. It's got to be that way. And I'm not just saying comp people, but I look at the comp people because these guys are the ones that complain the most about authenticity in the game. Like, for example, Young Kiv, who's a Madden champion. This is Relly's, and this is your colleague, whether you want to claim him or not. But he's in your avenue. And this dude said on the Madden 21 beta, he said throwing out a sack penalty, that should be removed from the game. He doesn't want to have a penalty for throwing out a sack. So he wants to be able to throw strikes always. Get the heck out of here, man. See, and that's why we say NFL Blitz. Make two separate games. Make that arcade game that they want 7v7 arcade action. Give them that. And then make the simulation version, the game that actually replicates the sport of football the way it needs to. And that's what needs to happen. Seriously. So that's the big time problem. You know, like when people ask for that separation, that's what they ask for it. But it's just Madden could be so much better of a game if they would pour more into giving the authentic side of the sport instead of just caving into what the casual slash comp guy wants. Sim remembers we were at the studio for Madden 15. QB inaccuracies, QB precision and inaccuracies were literally in the game. And
Yeah.
we came back to the studio and Rex told us, oh, we had to take it out because we had to roll it back because we had an in-house tournament and a tourney guy got upset because he missed a wide open pass. And he's like, yeah, you know, if there was money on the line, you know, he'd be pissed and that wouldn't look good on us. And it's like, dude, like, nah, that's part of the sport. I'm like, so how do you execute through the whole game? You know what I mean? Like he put all the weight on that one pass. If he put all the weight on that one pass, well, he should have did better earlier in the game. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, nah, man. Like at some point, this is something that you have to just build on, and regardless if people complain, boo-hoo, regardless of who it is, they just got to deal with it. Like we said before, in the NFL, corners are not taking away 3-4 routes with one guy. That's not humanly possible. But then in Madden, yeah, you're able to do that. Problem in all those guys, they complained Madden 19 where they worked on the player locomotion. And oh man, I can't take away 2-3 routes. Before the fall even hit, you were able to do that again. You see what I'm saying? So it's like like I respect the approaches, but I don't want to see this game get rolled back again, man. I don't want to see Madden 22. They come out with a title update and they didn't touch something and augmented how this stuff works in a bad way because a attorney guy feels a certain way instead of actually building it and making it so that, you know, the run animations are even more lifelike. Cuts, jump cuts, spin moves, all that stuff are more fluid and true to form based upon the player's height, weight, stature, and type. You know what I mean? Along with ratings. Like all of it can be done, but it has to be progressively built. And that's something this Madden community has truly forgotten about. You truly forgotten about what it means to actually build up something from zero all the way up. Like it needs to be built, man. Seriously. Regardless of how much MUT revenue you make, the funny thing is that you're not making as much money as NBA 2K. I know you're not.
Nah, not even.
2K sells 2K sells what 12 million copies a year. All that money they making off VC and all that, man, please. They're killing Madden in that regard. They're killing Madden in that regard. You know what I'm saying? So no, man. Now just think if EA stepped their game up and did more, just how much more money they would make. And Sim and I made them points before. Like EA every year, they're leaving potentially tens of millions of dollars on the table because of their approaches, because of their approach towards their own product, their football product. They got to do better with that. So they got to step it up, and folk just got to get used to these changes. They got to get used to the game stepping up. But if they roll this sucker back, man, there's other games to play. You know what I'm saying? Like how we was talking before this game launched. Hey man, what's going on that 2K? You know what I'm saying? Because like Sim said, that 2K football come out depending upon what it is and how they go about building it out and putting it out for release. That may be the fix. That may be the ticket. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't mess up. Don't mess up, EA. Like, that's just real. Don't mess up because it's going to be a fully licensed NFL product. It just depends upon what kind of product we're going to get. So we'll see, man. But as far as Madden, like I said, you know, I gave my high points and lows. Like it's pretty straightforward. It is a game that I can honestly play and enjoy. Um, but they took one big step towards organic gameplay potential with the player movement and to a
Yeah.
degree the tackling, with the exception like what Sim said, the two-man animations and everything. We've all talked about the two-man animation, wideout DB interactions, made numerous videos, especially using FIFA, showcasing like you want to see wideout DB interaction, do a corner kick in FIFA. That's perfectly it right there, and it's not tethered at all. So it's like, can they do it? Yeah, it can be done. Will EA execs allow the devs to do it? That's the grand question. And if they do give them the thumbs up to do it, it's not going to be done in one cycle. You talking about 3, 4, 5 cycles possibly before you really are like, oh wow, okay, now they got something. And that's not knocking anything. That's just how it goes. 2K would not have the My NBA where they're at if they didn't spend the over a decade plus building consistently. You see what I'm saying? So that's just how it works, man. But no, I'll throw it to you, Sam.
Couple things. Got one point I want to make. They about to show me the score, and 17-3. First point I want to make, and it's a couple in the chat, man, and we'll get to it. But the last one I saw, and again, guys, y'all know we don't do that nonsense here. We're not calling nobody out. We don't do none of that. So let me speak on that first too. Well, no, I'll bring it back to that point. But when I read a comment or something, it's just because you put it there. It's not like I'm picking on it or anything like that. But I'm gonna start with this one. What is it? EJA335OZ. He says, there's so many people that won't play Madden now because of how unlike real football it is. Fair. But this is the question I always have for even my sim crowd. What's real football? What I mean is, this game here tonight, Cam Newton ain't doing nothing. Is that because of him or the Rams defense just dominating? So I always ask that question to my sim guys, because when would you accept getting dogged because the team is better? When would you accept getting torched by somebody like a DK Metcalf because of how big and fast he is and because your corners just can't deal with him? When would you accept what the dumb Jets did last week, going cover zero, and not just the dumb call, but Ruggs being as fast as he is, quick in and out, over the top? When will you accept it? That's my only question. You got to ask yourself that sometime as sim guys, because I think a lot of times everybody falls into the video game mentality. It's easy to say, "Oh, this didn't work," but when do you accept that your team just ain't as good because all of the real football factors are playing out? Not a lot of people can handle that in a video game, and I think that skews people's feedback sometimes. I've actually learned to be one of those crazy nuts that when I could go, all I want to be able to do is go in the replay and say, "Oh, that's what happened." Shout outs to Bills if he's listening, man. I saw he was in here earlier. He posted a play on Twitter earlier. He was playing the CPU on All Madden. And basically what he said there, he said, whoa, the linebacker bit on the play fake. See, we do stuff like that. We'll go in and be like, oh, okay. Now, of course, the side argument is going to be, well, with Madden's logic, how do we know? See, that's how we keep going down the rabbit hole. But that's all. I always want to throw that out there, and that brings me to another point. Shout outs to, I think it's Hair Razor. He had put out there, he said, I'll find the initial comment. He says, the Madden Logic team is the worst in the industry. Not saying they're not nice people, but they simply are not qualified for their jobs. So I just asked him, I say, okay, elaborate. Again, I'm not challenging you. I just I want to hear everybody's opinion because, again, guys, remember, this is also why I don't always jump out the window with yay or nay because everybody's opinion is different. Everybody's knowledge level is different in terms of what you know to be fact, what you know to be fiction. What I can say that's fiction is that the Madden people don't know what they're doing. The people on that team know exactly what they're doing. I've talked about a lot of these devs many times. I can almost guarantee that A-Dub, Anthony White, knows more football than most people in here. He will talk circles around people when he talks about coverages and checks and formations. And trust me, if NY Kia is in here, most of you guys respect NY Kia for his football acumen. He can add to that and say, oh, no. That's one thing you can't say about the people on that team. So my question is always this too. Do you guys think that let's be real for a second. Do you guys really think that the people on the team don't want to make a great game? Like, is that a real thought? And if it is, fine. We're just having a discussion here. But when sometimes you have to slow down and ask yourselves, do you really think that like they purposely don't want to code the game correctly or they want the game to be broken? Because if you thinking that, then that's a totally different conversation, which again is fair. But I always have to reply to that when somebody mentions that because I'm like, nah, man, that ain't it. But I'm not going to get into the whole suits versus dev conversation tonight because we all know how that story goes. But I say that only because, see, everybody don't know that. So when I see I see a comment like that, I'm like, oh, okay, see, he don't know. So it's kind of like us enlightening you like, nah, man, trust me. The people on that team know football. Furthermore, some people say they respect my opinion and Smitty's opinion and Azure's opinion and Shopmaster's opinion and numerous other people. Well, guess what? We've been down to the studio several times telling them. So the people who have been there to say what to do for the game and the devs, that bridge has been crossed. That is not the problem. The people on that team is well equipped to do what needs to be done. We all know what the real problem is, but I'm not going to bore y'all with that tonight. But another thing I wanted to address, my man, shout out to my man Angel Morales, man. Angel says, hey, Sim, not sure if you saw my comment. He says, but what you described as certain animations playing out based on play calls, would you call that scripting? But no, I don't mean based on play calls. What I mean is most of us play 2K. How many times have you played 2K, right? And I always use the example of driving to the hole, to the rack or whatever, and the correct animation plays out. Or even when you on a break and the guy's right on your shoulder, and now on next gen where they improved the body collisions and all that. Those are pre-canned animations. They're not one-to-one. They're not as untethered as, like Smitty said, like a FIFA or PES. And the reason why you know that is because you see the same thing happen, but it's the right animation for the situation. And 2K has done a good job with marrying the two. You'll see canned animation along with control. And that's the thing. And there's still moments, small moments when your control ain't there, but they have enough animations to trigger and apply to a situation appropriately. And I don't know what formula they use, but they have learned how to master that. We got enough animations in our library, and our AI is strong enough that it's going to pull the right animation based on X, Y, and Z. And maybe Madden has to do that, because I don't know. Listen, I'm not a coder. I'm not an engineer. I don't know if what I ask is all the way possible. I tend to agree with Smitty, though. When you see it done better in another game where you know it's possible for it to be better than what it is now, and it's better on another game in your company, under your wheelhouse. There's another game at EA Sports that untethers and captures one-to-one animation or interaction, more than Madden does. So That's what makes us say, well, man, you got to be able to do this.
Yep.
But that's what I mean when I say, they got to have multiple animations that trigger that play out. But here's the fix, Smitty. Smitty knows this before I even say it. I feel like the fix for Madden in terms of that, have your carrying animation. Whatever. Have hundreds of thousands of animations. As long as you allow two things to happen. Branching technology and physics being able to augment any played out animation. That means that anytime, if two guys, let's say they got the 2-man catch animations like they are now, they go into that animation, but their bodies collide. Oh, something else happens then. Because their bodies touch. Now, what? Physics kicked in, and now this guy's arm moves, or they're going to have to do that. If there's not a way for them to get one-to-one, like literally being untethered from each other, then you got to make physics dictate and drive the end of the animation and them you being able to branch out of it. So if I'm in a 2-man, I know we're getting very technical here, but let's say I'm in a 2-man and I press the square to SWAT, it's responsive. Because they introduced this type of stuff years ago. Remember, we kept hearing branching technology. This was a long time ago. Whatever happened to that? I don't get it. So that's what I mean, man. Is all in all, they have to find a better way to keep your control and allow these animations to trigger and play out smoothly, and the appropriate animation to play out based on the situation at hand. There's multiple ways that you can get to that goal, and whichever way they find fit to do it, just do that. And like Smitty said, it's better on next gen. I don't feel like the 2-mans are so overbearing. And shout outs to, who was that? Nathan Osbrooks. Appreciate the donation, man. That's one of my Steeler guys right there. I believe so, but I think that's who that is. But yeah, man. That's it. I mean, yeah, I just never want us to lose sight of what's really happening, man. That's why I'm not coming to the defense of a dev, but again, me and Smitty are kind of in this position so we can come back and educate the community. Listen, man, trust me. That boy A-Dub, man, I'm telling you, this dude will lose the majority of us in this chat if he started talking about coverage and the breakdown of it, and when you're supposed to check the solo and match coverage here and what are you doing? All of that stuff, your head will explode. So I can't let that part go where people say they don't know what they're. No. It all starts upstairs, man. And upstairs decides how long they can go back and fix bugs, which is the reason why, honestly, if we being honest, this is why coverage has been the way it's been for the last several years. Because they got to be, allowed the time to go back and fix. See, they keep doing it in patch. Even like now, they're saying there's going to be some patch logic coming. It needs to be more than that. But the big bad bosses ain't trying to hear that. How you going to... This is real stuff I'm telling y'all now. How you going to convince them, like, look, man, we need to take like a year and, yeah, we need to totally redo this. You know what the moneymaker's going to say? Huh? How long that's going to take? Nah. We can't do that. Nope, we can't do that. We got to get cheerleaders with the pom-poms on the sideline because people like that. That's more important. That's how it go. Unfortunately, we are. You know who we should blame in all of this? The NFL. Well, wait. 2K and the NFL.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's who we have to blame. And the reason why I say that is because you know why we love 2K so much, and most of y'all know this story. I never forget it, man. When I played NFL 2K, the first one, and I was like, whoa. Are those guys breathing cold air when it's cold?
Yep.
What? And you know what it told me right then? Wow, they got details. And then by the time we got to like 2K4, I would say, seeing the sidelines, I was like, what? Then by the time we got to 5, I was like, yo, they focus on details, presentation. And that's the thing. It's unfortunate that we had a company that came in the door. Because remember, even 2K basketball was the first game I saw with the sweat on their chest and stuff. First one, right?
Yeah.
Their philosophy is we're going to be all about details. And it's unfortunate that Madden was the bigger conglomerate at that time. Great gameplay, right? We had the depth. But again, 2K came in and was like, all right, it's in the game, it's in the game. Let's challenge that. We're going to take it to the next level. Madden was the big dog, sold all the units. 2K said we're going to be slick. We're going to drop the price of that product. Bam. Great idea, but they didn't realize that the big boss, you know, if you're talking about street terms, you don't realize that your connect was like, hold on, partner. What you doing? You dropping it, now you cutting into my profit. You can't be selling that for no 29. And then your boy up the street was like, oh, that's what he's selling this for? Oh, no, I got to drop my joint down to like 30, 39.
Yeah.
Now the connect like, whoa. What's happening here? See what I'm saying, guys? Like, that's what happened. And we are left with the company that had the deepest pockets. Not even that. Remember, most people miss this part. The NFL. Because a little birdie told me, I don't know if it's true, but somebody told me that should know this information. 2K offered more money back then. And the NFL was like, nah, we're going to go with them. So it's unfortunate that we're stuck with the corporate philosophy of, we'll get there when we get there. And I feel like had they never did what they did going to the 360, we'd be good, man. If they would have just poured it over, built from that, we would, man. But I know all that don't matter now, but it's just to make the point, man. It's like, yeah, we're fighting a totally different fight, man, than I think most of you guys realize. And that's why, and I saw, a guy in the chat said, that's why he respects us because, we still know it's a game and all that. But again, even more than that, and we appreciate that, but even more than that, I know the real game behind the game. So that's why y'all don't see me going off like that. Me and Smitty did that years ago. Now that we know what's really happening, man, I just can't move like that. I can't waste my energy. However, to wrap the show up, them doing this new player movement stuff, that is a huge sign because I didn't think they was going to do anything like that. That corporate had to get on board with that, folks. That's not the devs just saying, yeah, we coming in hot. No. Do y'all realize what actually happened here? This is a fundamental difference in the game. That's a the box feature. Wow. How they pull that off? That's actually a back of the box feature with the next gen replays, which is actually kind of cool. I can't front. But along with that being a back of the box feature, you snuck in some realism. You using real player data. This can only go through the roof if they stay with it. We'll see. We'll see, man. But that's all I got. This is where we at with it. If you want to play it, I would suggest getting it. And again, I'm still in what Smitty said last week, but Smitty was so right. You buy this game as cheap as you can on old gen, PS4, Xbox One version. And if you have a next gen console, you use that purchase to upgrade to the new gen for free. And you can see for yourself what the differences are, and it didn't cost you nothing. Now, if you just don't want to buy it at all, I agree with that too. But if any of you guys are interested and you're willing to just buy Madden like you do, because a lot of you guys buy it every year anyway, I would suggest you to hold off if you can. If you haven't bought it yet, you waiting for the holidays, which we're close to it now, Get it as cheap as you can. And then you upgrading for free. And that's it, man. Get your feedback and listen. I would suggest just find other games to play too, man. Don't spend all your energy, and this will kill you. We've been going down there since 2012. Burnt out. I mean, I'm still gonna be here giving my feedback, but again, we've learned to temper our expectations. We know what it is, man, and hopefully we'll be oversold, overwowed, and we were undersold and we're overwowed. That's kind of how me and Smitty approach Madden now. I don't know why y'all be so disappointed every year when you know. And here's the funny thing. The people who complain the loudest are the ones that always say they ain't going to do nothing.
Yeah.
So what you mad at? I don't know. I don't know, man. Whatever. Enjoy your life elsewhere, folks. What's up with that Cyberpunk, Smitty? You seen it or played it?
Seen it. Haven't played it yet.
Yeah, me neither. Shout outs to old boy. He knows who he is, who allows me to access his games on Xbox. Shout outs to you. Because that's how I'm going to see it if I even decide to. But don't really seem like, I don't know. I'm not overjoyed to try it, but I might just take a look at it. Why not? But yeah. That's all I got, guys. Time to go tend to the wife and kid.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah, gotta do the same thing too. Ooh.
My boy Cam Akers, yep. Florida State, baby. See? I'm telling you, Smitty, the Sim guys. Will you accept this? New England's getting punished. Like, their defense just... and a lot of people won't. That's what I'm saying. We want a game to be super real, but I am telling you, because me and Smitty have seen glimpses of it before when there was sim aspects, and guys was like, well, I don't know. That's always going to creep up in there, man. That video game mentality is always going to come back to bite a lot of people. But all right, man. We out of here. Hope you guys have a great rest of the week. If you are a Rams fan, you're probably going to be 9-4 tonight. My man Cam Akers is right now a career high 15 carries, 134 yards, 8.9 average. Yowza. What if that was your defense in a fully sim football game? I'm just saying. I'm just fooling around, guys. But other than that, man, hope you guys have a great weekend. Be safe. Hold on. Somebody said, how you like that headset? Oh, yeah. We can talk about that really quick. If, Smitty wanted... Well, I don't think Smitty got them. Smitty had them when he was getting everything for $12. But then they caught it. Oh, but I like them, man. I definitely, you can tell the 3D audio and stuff is working. It's dope. It seems to work from what I heard. Now, if anybody else has these headphones, these are the 3D Posts or whatever, the PlayStation 5 headphones. Y'all can confirm this with me. I heard, and I think from my own ears, that 3D audio only works in these when you're using them wirelessly. I don't think it's working when they're wired. And I saw another person's video who said that, but if anybody else can confirm that. But other than that, man, they are a very decent sounding headphone to me for gaming. I know some people who are really into audio are, trying to compare them to other stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, they're gaming headphones. They sound great to me. I like them. Are they the best you've ever heard? Probably not, but I thoroughly enjoy them, and that 3D audio is something different. It's something different. The spatial audio and all of that. But anyway, other than that, catch you guys later. Be safe. God bless. Good night, and we'll catch you next time on the Sim Standard Podcast.